Good. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Thirza. I'm the community manager at Wild Hub. And today I have a very special guest with me, Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hello, hi.
So we thought of doing this session because of current situation with the coronavirus. And some of you might make this transition of office-based work to home-based work. And so we have Beth as an expert on home-based work. And she would like to share some of her advice and tips for you all. So Beth, can you tell us a little bit about your background, perhaps?
Yeah, certainly. So I've been working with Well Team for over 3.5 years now. And Well Team, we don't have an office, so we all work from home. So we're quite used to this working from home setup. And before starting working with Well Team, I was doing a PhD. And when I was doing a PhD, I would go into uni every day. So I did have to make the transition from having a regular, almost regular, sort of regular hours with my office somewhere else to being working from home. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And so you made that transition after finishing your PhD, or you kind of, what was the turning point for you when you thought, oh, actually, I need some ways of going about this better?
Okay. Yeah. So when I moved to working from home, there was a lot of trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was something I wasn't used to, and something I had to get my head around. I'm lucky enough that I have a nice space to work in, and I realise not everyone's that lucky. So for me, I had a room that I could convert to an office.
All
Um,
right.
so that was the first thing that was I had kind of got my head around. Okay, how do I make this space somewhere where I want to work? And that was definitely a process, and it's definitely an ongoing process. I still move it around, take
Mm-hmm.
furniture around regularly, on that.
Yeah, I recognize that. So when you first made that transition to really go to work from home full time, which challenges did you encounter?
So the challenges, I think, are the regular, normal ones that a lot of people will be facing. So things like having enough social contact. I was used
Hmm.
to being in an office with lots and lots of people. Um, Finding structure to my day,
Yeah.
because you wake up, you don't have a commute, which is both wonderful, but it also means you've got your desk is just downstairs, and it's sort of this weird setup. That was
Hmm.
definitely one. Yeah, kind of staying motivated and not getting distracted, because if you're at home, then there's jobs to do, there's things to do, there's the washing up, there's the
Yeah.
cleaning, which you don't never want to do the rest of the time, but suddenly in work hours, it's like you notice where all the dirt is.
Yeah, I recognize that too. Yeah. And I found it as well with not having a commute. It's like your body doesn't quite wake up yet, and then you're behind a desk. So
Mm,
yeah, I helped me to do some I started the morning with some yoga, just very light exercise, just to stretch it so I could to have my body wake up a bit. But yeah, these little things can really help. And so
yeah.
what did you do to find like solutions to your challenges?
So yoga is a really good idea. Even if it's 5 minutes of yoga in the morning, as you say, it's like waking your body up, your body to go straight. Some people it really works for them to get out of bed, go straight to their desk. That's when their brains are most active and
Hmm.
the most creative. For me, I needed a little stage in between,
Yeah.
and structuring my day. I've played around with it again, and I've done different things.
Hmm.
I used to often do an activity before work. So I was in this amazing position, no commute. I had this time in my day, so I would go to the gym, I would go for a run, I would go paddle boarding. Um,
Oh.
Obviously, a lot of those things are harder now in the situation that we're in,
Hmm.
but it's about finding your own rhythm. And actually, now I've shifted. The past year, I've shifted to starting work early, and
Yeah.
then taking a long lunch break around 11 o'clock. So then I will do a run or something, or at the moment it's been I've switched to doing kind of circuits in the garden,
Ah, that's nice. Yeah.
and then having lunch and then coming back to work. So for me, that works well now. So I think it's important to play around with the structure of your day. And I think the amazing thing about working from home is most people they have the flexibility of the hours when they work.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you can, if you are a morning lark, you can make the most of those hours when you're productive. or if you're a night owl, you can make the most of those hours. And people have different biological rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, it makes you be able to make the best of that. But that said, as a team, and we have this in World Team, I think it's really important to agree on the core hours that you're online. If your hours don't overlap at all with your colleagues, then everything kind of slows down. You can't get responses to things you want. So, perhaps 10 to 3, they're the core hours. You have to be round and responding to emails. So I think that's,
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, especially if you're depending on people, or people are depending on you, right, in terms of work. Yeah, I recognize that.
Yeah.
I also recognize what you're saying about having a long lunch break, which can really help, because I feel, because we are not in an office, so normally you would just grab a coffee, have a chat, and then continue work. So you have like little breaks in between. And now I notice that sometimes I've been in the same position for a couple of hours, and I'm really like, oh gosh, yeah, because I don't get distracted as much as I would be in the office, which is the good and the bad thing, right? And so having that lunch break a bit longer, or at least that you really make an effort to go away from the desk, can really help me, at least, to just get that blood flowing again, move around, and also for your brain, just to relax a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. It's easy to stay sat in one place for a very long time.
Yeah.
But it's really important to get up, to go make a cup of tea, whether that be herbal tea or whatever you would want, or even just hot water sometimes. Getting your body moving. I don't do it at the moment, but I went through a time where I had my phone would buzz at me every half hour.
Oh yeah.
And that would remind me to stand up, even though I just stood up, so I turned around and then sat down. At least it meant I wasn't staying sat down for the whole time. So
yeah, I did that for a while as well. Yeah, I just have like a 30-minute buzz, and then I have a meow now, which is kept meowing at me, saying you need to close your eyes for a few seconds, just stretch, and then go continue your work again. Yeah. So what would you recommend people who are making that transition now because of the coronavirus?
So I think the difference is that with the coronavirus, the transition to home working has been quite sudden for some people.
Yeah.
So they're not something they're used to or done a lot of. Some people have. So I'd recommend just as much as possible talking to other people, whether other people in a similar situation to you or other people who have been working from home for a long time.
Yeah.
And sharing ideas of ways to stay motivated and stay in touch. What I did, I talked to lots of people about working from home and how they do it. And a lot of the tips I've picked up are from other people. So yeah, that would be my one recommendation. Chat to other people, find shared solutions. And if it's within a team of people, within an organization, then perhaps there's some processes you can put in place to help you stay sane. So we use Skype for general just chit chat, and we post things on there. And it might be work related or it might be social related. And there's a balance there to be struck between keeping in contact with people, finding out how people are, but not spending hours typing away, sharing nonsense. We use Zoom, which is brilliant for weekly catch-ups. And it means so many of your meetings can continue. And the only difference is you're a bit more 2D rather than in person.
Yeah.
But I do think Zoom is incredible, and when you have those meetings, you still have the time to, a few minutes at the beginning to say, how are you, how are things, and to find those social connections that are so important in life.
Yeah, I agree. I think also as alternative, because how do you say? I realize that not everyone has a Zoom account. So, and if you want to chat with multiple people for longer, then it's not free anymore. No. So, alternative is that is Wild Up right now. We have like the video panel option for up to 15 people. And you can either record that or you don't have to. So you can just have it as a chat. But yeah, if you record it, you can also share it more widely if it's about tips and all that, or like a thematic discussion. So and that's freely accessible. But that's just in between note. I also wondered, because you told me once, you told me about the motivational Monday morning videos, right? Can you tell us a
Yeah,
bit about that?
yeah. Before I talk about that and making sure I don't forget,
Oh, yes, sure.
one thing in response to what you're saying, I think videos are, well, they are kind of linked, but the videos are really powerful, and
Yeah.
using something like Wild Hub to just quickly record a video makes it so much more personal. To see somebody, you can add so much more nuance on, so much, yeah, it's much more human than something written. And I think, yeah, videos are really
Yeah.
powerful. And also, if you are sending an email to someone and you would rather have had a conversation with them, it might be a bit of a tricky thing to convey. Maybe you're giving feedback and you need to be really careful about how you come across. Is
Yeah.
just a voice audio on your phone or your computer can
Oh,
be a
yeah.
really nice way of giving some message that you would have otherwise typed, because it can be quicker than typing, and it, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
can be more subtle in the ways it might need to be.
Yeah, it's more personal, right? Yeah, I recognize that. I do it with friends all the time, but yeah, why not with work with colleagues?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
much
right.
more efficient. And that was a tip given to me by my mentor, and that's why I really like that one. Yeah, Monday morning motivation. So this is something we introduced um, a couple of months ago, and we played around with the format of it. But it, because we all work from home, you come to your desk on a Monday morning. Usually, you'd see your colleagues, you'd catch up about how the weekend was and all of that. If you sit
Mm-hmm.
at your desk at home, it can be, you feel a bit flat. You're like, okay, got a week to get through. How am I going to do this? What, well, why am I here? Why am I doing the job that I do?
Yeah.
So the Monday morning motivation, MMM, was born out of this idea of how do we motivate each other and keep in touch. So the format we have now is we take turns to once a week. So, sorry, yeah, it's only once a week, but we take turns. So we only end up doing it every like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, it's to record a 2-minute video, and just on your phone, so nothing fancy,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing rehearsed, just whatever comes out, whatever ramblings happen to you chat
Yeah.
about maybe a reason why you're excited about the week that you're going to have, some sort of work that you're doing that you're excited about the impact it's going to have, some sort of feedback you've had on your work that was really good and motivating,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's just yeah, a reminder to get out for walks and enjoy nature, or some sort of sign of spring that you saw at the weekend, and sharing
Mm-hmm.
that with your team. It's, yeah, very fluid. It's just some sort of motivation for a Monday morning to kickstart you, and it's because it's sent as a attachment to an email, then it's sufficient. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
hopefully,
such a lovely idea. I really like it. Yeah.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's just nice also to start your week like that, just to touch base with your colleagues, and because we
Yeah,
don't see each other every day, right? We don't go to the office like you say. I think
yeah,
it's brilliant. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Any more advice that you want to share with us before we close?
Um, oh gosh. Well, I know we're going to be doing a series of posts about this on the Wild Team social media.
Yeah.
Um, so we're all contributing to that. But I'd love to hear other people's thoughts about how they're coping and what their tips are. I guess, yeah, there's the main things are having a good workspace,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be your kitchen table. I actually do sometimes work at the kitchen table to vary it. If you do work at the kitchen table, then try and clear everything away at the end of the day so you have your living space back.
Mm-hmm.
And scheduling and planning, that's another an area where it'd be great to hear people's thoughts on how they do that. Um, I at the beginning of the day will structure my day and think about what I need to do, and I actually use bullet journaling because it means I can like write stuff down rather than, so I can take my eyes away from the screen for a bit. It's
Oh,
really
that's a good
scrappy the
idea.
way I do it. It's not beautiful at all, but I
That's a
find it
job.
works for me.
Yeah.
Stay in touch. So communications is the other, kind of the other area to think about. How are you going to stay in touch both professionally with your colleagues? What platform are you going to use? So kind of agree on something in advance
Mm-hmm.
and stick with it. Also communications with friends at these kind of times,
Yeah.
and finding those social interactions which are not work. So it might be that you have a lunch break, you've got an hour. In that hour, you might go for a half-hour walk and have a 15-minute phone call, or just purely social with a friend,
Yeah.
and have some lunch. So you've got time to kind of build in those chats.
Mm-hmm.
And then with work-life balance and kind of the other area, I'd say we've been thinking about what we do to kind of to stay sane, and around that. And yeah, there's lots you can do, and it is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And I realise a lot of people, it's a scary time, but there's a lot that can be done. So with work-life balance, if possible, I guess my number one tip would be get outside.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's raining a lot, get outside for 5 minutes, get some fresh air, get out of the house, and you'll feel much better.
Yeah, I sometimes just stick my head outside of the door or something. Like if I don't have enough time, I know it's not ideal. It's better to actually go outside or go into a garden or a balcony if you have it. But just that fresh air can really help. And also, I noticed in the last week or so that we're looking at the news a lot, and I noticed that it doesn't always help me. So to stay focused and positive and feel connected with people, I rather work on certain platforms to communicate and to stay connected, and not so much look at all these news things that come up, because it just I feel like I have an information overload of all of those things, and I rather just have like some positive words or messages of how to start my day best, or some encouraging words from colleagues. So. But everyone works differently, and it is important to know what's going on, of course. But just for your mental well-being, I think it's really important to put some boundaries around it, as well as, like you say, your work-life balance. Because working from home, you don't really leave the office, so it's easier to prolong your working hours. But I also, if you have, in terms of maintaining your personal relationships, it's really important to set some boundaries around working time. I found. So I recognize what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think in terms of what you're saying there about your work hours can go on and on. It's hard, but it's as much as you can to be strict with yourself to say, I'm not going to do cleaning during work hours. I'm not going to do admin during work hours. I'm going to, even if you have to schedule them later, like literally put them in your diary, if that helps you.
That's a good idea, actually. Because
I
heard,
sorry, go on.
Go ahead. Yeah, I heard many people saying that, like, oh no, that working from home doesn't work for me because I end up doing the laundry, or I end up, seeing the kitchen. I'm like, oh, it's such a state. I need to clean this now. So I recognize what you say. You need to kind of, if you have your own space, create your own space. It's really important. Yeah.
And sometimes if I'm feeling like the flat particularly needs sorting out, then I'll do that before work.
Oh, that's good.
I'll have that time when it might be an hour or so in the morning. I can do some life admin and I can tidy the flat, and everything's better than before. So I feel better about then sitting down at my desk and with everything else being in order.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's that tool that we started using as well, with that you can kind of monitor what you spend time on? Do you remember that one?
Was it Rescue Time?
Oh yeah, Rescue Time. Because I find that quite insightful as well, because I've been focusing lately on what gives me energy in terms of, the contact, so with people, but also activities. So I'm sometimes, I can really feel a flow if I dedicate a few hours of my morning to a task and really get it finished, and without being too distracted in between. And so Rescue Time has helped me a little bit, but there are many tools like that out there. But so I put some goals on there. I don't want to spend that much time, or maximum this amount of time to look at social media or at news or something like that. So really focusing on what energizes me, and also identifying what drains my energy. So kind of the news at the moment, some sites kind of my energy just kind of goes away without me noticing it almost. So that's kind of what I've been looking at as well. But thank you so much for sharing everything. And
thank you for your tips and stuff.
Really good great. Chat. And I would also invite anybody who listens to this or looks at this to share your comments. On Wild Hub, we'll have a comment section below. And I'm sure with other social medias that we'll share this with, will be a room for you to enter your thoughts as well and your own tips and advice, because it's really valuable to just be able to share it, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really valuable to have those connections at this time and to remain supportive.
Yeah.
Everyone's being very lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Beth, and thank you so much for listening and looking in, everyone else, and let's stay connected.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.